I married as a virgin. The fantasies I had, all kinds of things raging. I had no clue what I was really getting myself in. We get married. In the morning, she comes and says, "Oh, can you please zip the same for me?" It was nice. It was even romantic. And sometimes even led to some games. Marriage really cramps your style. You can't go out as you like. You can't do what you like. That was me. Today, I'm thinking of the young man who took a wife on the 23rd of July, 1983. Thinking about that young man and realizing, to my shame, that I had no clue what I was really getting myself into. Don't get me wrong. I walked to the altar with confidence. I was brimming with confidence and excitement. But with the benefits of hindsight, I realized that no. When I compared that Whyte with the one speaking to you now, after 42 years, I feel I owe Florence an apology. An apology that the young man she married really had no clue at all. But thank God I have learned along the way. Thanks to her patience. But the reason why I'm making this is because I realize that I am not the only young man who, at the time of his marriage, did not quite know what he's doing. As a counselor, I've come to realize, rather shockingly, that the number of young men who, at the time they stand before the altar with a woman by them and exchange vows, have no idea what they are doing, is alarming. And so, to those young men, and to all those 1983 Ebohwais out there, I bring you what I wish I knew before I took a wife on the 23rd of July, 1983 at St. Luke's Methodist Church at Abosuakan. Can you do something for me? Subscribe, like this, share it. Oh, and let me get your comments on this. Comment. Number 1. Marriage will not guarantee you unlimited sex. I married as a virgin, and as you can imagine, the fantasies I had, oh my goodness. You know, when you're a virgin, you think of sex very differently. People think you're a good boy, but inside you, there's all kinds of things raging. And so for me, the excitement is that, oh, unless the battle has ended. Oh no, it isn't like that. I soon discovered there are legitimate reasons why a man after marriage cannot have sex all the time. And this has nothing to do with whether the wife is willing or not. Life can happen. And so the key is learn to control your sexual desires before you marry. Otherwise, you'll be a disaster waiting to happen after marriage. So let's talk about the second thing that I wish I knew before I married. The restrictions and the limitations that marriage imposes on a man are good for the man. They are good for his protection. There are a lot of young men who think that, oh, marriage really cramps your style. You know, you can't go out as you like. You can't do what you like. That was me. All right, so I come home late. So what? I've come home. I am going to travel, and do I really need to tell you in advance? You know, so I get up in the morning, I'm packing, and I tell her, oh, I'm going on a trip to Kumasi or to Takoradi. I said, and you're telling me now? And I said, yeah, but I've told you. But when did you plan that trip? And then I didn't understand. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, I realize that if a man can keep himself accountable to his wife on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, that is his protection. Because see, what a lot of young people don't know is that the hidden traps on the way of a man will shock you. The married men who hold themselves accountable to their wives never get hit by a scandal. The limitations, the restrictions, good for a man. Let's quickly go to number 3. Be careful with your words when you are arguing with your wife. You have an argument, and there will be argument in any marriage. It has nothing to do with whether the marriage is terrible or not. It is normal for human beings to disagree, to get on each other's wrong side and things. So expect that. That is a given. But whilst you are arguing, it is possible that you believe that your wife is wrong and owes you an apology. And of course, she's not giving you that apology. And in your frustration, to let her see that, look, this thing is simple. You just say sorry and let's move on. You are likely to say something unfortunate, something out of your frustration. Young man, once those words come out of your mouth, the main issue is no longer relevant. It's pushed aside. Now it is what you have just said that becomes the issue. What you have just said. And it's not just the words. Your tone, the tone with which you said it becomes an issue as well. So be careful when you are having an argument with your wife, when you are thrashing issues out. Control yourself. Bite your tongue before you let any angry word out, because you'll be made to pay for it. So, and nothing prepared me for number 4. A woman loses the ability, the young lady who before marriage can concoct her body to fasten her brassier and pull up her zip, no matter where the seamstress puts it. Soon after marriage, loses that ability. So we get married. Florence has lived on her own all her life. Then in the morning, she comes and says, oh, please zip. And it's interesting. At the beginning, it was asked nicely. So it was like, oh, I'm doing her a favor. So it was even romantic. It was nice. Oh, can you please zip the thing for me? And sometimes it even led to some games. That was nice. By the time, there was no announcement. So you'll be sitting there, or you'll be lying on the bed, and then she just comes and turns her back to you, and you are supposed to know that your duty as chief zipper and chief bra fastener has arisen, and just get up and do your duty. So just accept it. Just accept it. I'm sure the woman will say, no, we don't. It's just nice to involve you, and it's part of bonding. Whatever it is, young man, your woman will lose that ability. Flow with it. Okay. The next point, when your wife asks you a question, half of the time, what do I mean by half of the time? Most of the time, she already knows the answer. She knows the answer, but she would ask you. Women have all sorts of networks of family members and friends of those family members, schoolmates and friends of those schoolmates, colleagues and friends and relatives of those colleagues, church members and friends and relatives of those church members. It's a wide network. I call that network WNN, Women's News Network. Now, every one of these categories of people, family members, friends of the family members, colleagues, friends of colleagues, and all that, they make themselves the correspondents of WNN, Women's News Network. And their duty is whenever they see you outside the home, whether you are doing something good or not, it doesn't matter. Whenever they see you, they would have to file a report to your woman. Hey, Adwa, I saw Kwame here. Hey, Fia, a branch here just drove past my house. The report is given. So when you get home a little later than usual, and your wife asks you, are you really coming from the office? Don't kid yourself. She knows exactly where you're coming from. The WNN has filed the report. Your best bet, honestly, always. It will save you. Otherwise, WNN will expose you. Okay? Now, remember, I am sharing with you things I wish I knew before I married. Can you do something for me? Subscribe, like this, share it. Oh, and let me get your comments on this. Comments. Point number 6. Be nice to the friends of your wife. A lot of men stay aloof when dealing with the friends of their wives. They think that they talk too much, they pry too much, they take the attention of their wife away from him. And this is what I've discovered. Be nice to those friends of your wife, because they become the judge and jury whenever you have an issue or your wife has an issue with you. Because she goes to them as the prosecutor to prosecute you before them. And then they constitute themselves into judge and jury. And then one of them even appoints herself as your defendant. If you're not nice to them, your defense is always porous and weak and half-hearted. But if you are nice to them, the defense is strong and robust. And you may not even know it. But if you are nice to the friends of your wife, They can let your wife feel bad and say, oh, Johnny, why are you drunk crowd? Cut him some slack, okay? Cut him. Be patient with him and things like that. So be nice to the friends of your wife because you need them to put in a word for you every now and then. Brings me to the next point. Number 7. A woman needs her friends. If you check the number 6, you are likely to say, okay, then let me drive away all her friends. No. A woman's life is complex and a man can be able to meet every social and emotional need of a woman. So she needs her friends. She needs her girls. So they can talk. So they can vent. So they will listen endlessly. Let her have her friends. Then she can give you the abridged short version of what she needs to say and reserve the rest for her friends. A woman needs her friends. But that's not the only reason. When there's a crisis, she needs to be surrounded by her friends. So allow your wife to have her friends. She needs them. Until I come your way again, this is James Whyte of Roverman Productions. Subscribe to this and then share it. And let's build a big community. God bless you.